Alrighty, guys, we are live on YouTube, not on Facebook. So if you have anybody watching, tell them to join on the YouTube.
It's gonna go on YouTube. I'm gonna put it in the group right now.
Awesome. No, hold on. Let me send this. I have to invite Dylan because apparently he's in the waiting room, and I don't know what waiting room he's talking about because I do not see him. There we go. I was going to say, Dylan, I do not see you in a waiting room. All right, so we are live. All righty, guys. Congratulations to the final three. We are finally at the finale. So how this will work is I will give each finalist 2 minutes to open up with an open speech. We will do that. We'll go out alphabetical order on, why they should win and all this and that, whatever they want to say. So yeah, I will start off with Andrew. So Andrew.
Sorry, where's the link? Sorry, one sec.
It's on the Facebook group.
Are you sure?
Yes, it should be, Robbie.
Put it in chat as well.
Yes, it's on the Facebook chat.
Sorry, stand by.
All right, Luis, you are the host. Have fun.
You can leave. Oh my God. And sorry about that. That was so much. But I was like, if I could not get this, we were going to change the finale to another day because I did not spend my money just to not use it. So,
Right.
Okay.
All right, Andrew, let's go, hun.
Yeah. How much time do I have?
You have 2 minutes starting.
Yikes. Okay. Hi, everyone. I believe I deserve to win this game for 4 reasons, which I had planned on saying all at once now, but I'm going to do 2 now and 2 later because 2 minutes is nothing. We have closing statements, right, Luis? Okay, good. So I believe I deserve to win this game for 4 reasons. First, I had a really rough start to this game. I started 2 orgs at once because I had done terribly in orgs in the past and I was sick and tired of waiting and waiting and waiting forever for the next one to begin. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do 2 at once and just, hope for the best. So not realizing that neither one was survivor based, I had a total of 35 people to meet in one night. The premiere night was the exact same night. And that was very difficult in that I would say, hi, how are you to 35 people. And by the time I got to the last person, the first 10 had already responded. So I never had an empty inbox. And because of that, I got sort of labeled as the inactive player right off the bat. And it put me on the block round 1, rightfully so. And but I managed to overcome that and become more active and get myself in the game, get my head in the game and overcome that. And the second reason why I deserve to win this game is there may be a misconception, second reason out of 4, there may be a misconception that I was a floater this season. I want to make it very clear. I was always on the Jonathan, Tom, Bridget, Darnell side at the beginning of the game. Because when I came in, Brian was doing Jackbox with everybody. I came in late. And I'm like, wow, the host is really cool. He's like playing fun. He's playing fun games with everybody. We're doing Family Feud. Like, what a cool host. And when I realized he was a player, I was like, what? This guy is playing the game? And that's why instantly I thought of him as Paul. And so I branded him in my confessionals as Paul because he was going to rope around his sheep and start a Paul cult. And so I wanted to align with all of the anti-Brian people who were the people I mentioned before, Jonathan, Tom, Bridget, Darnell, etc. And that's why when I won HOH week 3, I wasn't afraid to make a big move and put Brian and Sam right on the block right away. I was not a floater. If I made deals with the other side, but I was not a floater. I was always on that side. And it just happened that...
I'm giving you 1 more minute, so just keep going.
Okay. And it just so happened that that side didn't have any power. So when all of those numbers went down, I had to sort of struggle and box my way back up with the numbers that I had accumulated from the other side. So those are 2 of the 4 reasons why I deserve to win the game. I will save the other 2 for the end because I did not expect only 2 minutes. But thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing from all of you.
Okay. So I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes now. So I will go with Logan. Logan, you are up. Your 3 minutes start now.
Okay, hi jury. I know some of you may not want to vote for me tonight, but I hope we all get the chance to talk back and forth about whatever your criteria is. You are valid. This is your jury game. I really wish everyone was here, but that's okay. I love everyone that's here. Now, based off of that, I think I should win the game because I was patient, I was persistent, I worked on my positioning constantly to the point where I never had to face a single eviction vote in this game. No one else can say that. I'm in the top 3 of Big Brother players all time. If this was a real season, for at least most amount of time before I was nominated in a season, I have 0 eviction votes. I won some clutch competitions. I think I was actually a better competitor than I was branding myself. There's a lot of branding I did early on to make myself very, very low as a target. And after the first 4 rounds, I pivoted my game and I turned against Bridget in that alliance Andrew was just mentioning. I worked with Brian and Sam. That's where the power was. And we pulled in Cody. And ultimately, what we did, we were able to have an alliance that had all of those powers. Me and Dylan worked that very well. We were able to go into an alliance that not just had tons of powers. I mean, that was going to dictate a lot in the game, but also 2 huge competitors, Brian and Cody. I mean, really, all I had was to gain from that. I don't know why y'all aligned with me or Dylan, to be honest. But we packaged ourselves as 2 votes. A lot of you know that in the game. Angel, you know that. That came a long time, many rounds. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think I just kept dodging those knives that kept coming out. And I'm sorry if I upset some of you by doing some of the things, but I was very calculated. I was very careful. Usually if I wasn't talking to you, it was on purpose, except for towards the end of the game. So I'm going to own those moments. Don't worry. Same with Javier. There's some people I wish I would have talked to more, but at the same time, if I had, I think I would have been in danger. I would have actually been put on the block. And so I would love for you to pull out the nuances of the game that I have to show tonight. I think I played a much better game than I was projecting. And whatever happens, it's your jury, and I'm excited to see. This is only my 2nd Skype org. I'm a newbie to this community. I've never played a Big Brother game before, and here I am sitting in the final 3, which was a little unexpected. I think I've done the best I can possibly do. And if you're angry at me, we can talk about that, but I hold no hard feelings towards anyone in the game. And I just want to clear everything up regardless. Thank you so much. That's it for me right now.
All righty, Sam, your 3 minutes start now.
Hi guys. Similar to Andrew, I came into this game in quite a negative place. I'd just been blindsided from 2 orgs, one that meant a lot to me, and my confidence was rock bottom at the start of the game. I very, very nearly, I was checked out the first few, and people thought I was inactive because of it. And also, fortunately, I knew 3 people coming into this game. I didn't know they were playing until we started, so that was fortunate. I didn't settle for that. I made sure I built those social connections. I made a really good bond with Cody from day 1. We connected over a number of things, and we continued to play together and work together throughout the entire game. I had 3 main strong allies throughout the entire game, which were Brian, Andrew, and Cody, with Angel for the majority of it until the trust started to waver a little bit. I feel I played an excellent social game. I feel I was positioned well throughout the game. I was always positioning myself with power within groups of people that would keep me safe, because I wasn't very good at competition, so I didn't win a single one. And because of that, my threat level was low the entire time. Nobody really saw me as a threat. But throughout that time, I was constantly strategizing with my allies and constantly socializing and working out the best play 2, 3, 4 moves ahead. There's been some difficult rounds. The round when Andrew I went was really, really hard for me, just on a personal level. He's one of my best friends. And even though I knew he was going, there was no way I could have sent a vote to vote him out. That was really, really hard. And I know he was upset because I didn't use the power that round, but I thought Angel was going. At that point, he was a big, big threat to me. I've shown throughout the game that loyalty is really, really important to me. And apart from Dylan, I have been loyal to everyone, and Logan, obviously. I've been loyal to everyone that I've given my word to this game. I with the Dylan situation, it was only I voted to evict him because everyone else in the game besides Logan had pledged their allegiance and their loyalty to me. Dylan had made it clear the previous week that I was his second choice, which meant that I had to make sure he went. Otherwise, because everyone else would have been their first choice. I was nominated 3 times. I received 2 eviction votes in the first round, mainly because of my inactivity and because of other relationships. But then I wasn't ever really in any immediate danger, and that was due to my social relationships. That was due to how I positioned myself throughout the game. Just want to reiterate how much of an amazing time I had in this season, and I can't wait to hear your questions and answer your questions and speak to you guys. Thank you very much.
All righty, guys. Well, so I'm going to give each member of the jury 10 minutes to ask questions to the final 3. So this will be a long final. So, I mean, not too long because not all the jury members are here, but it's going to be long. But anyways, it's all good. You're here. Anyways, so we will start off with the first member of the jury. Bridget, it is your turn to talk. So the floor is yours.
Sorry, just give me a second. I
Well,
don't even know
hurry
where
up.
I am. Hi, y'all. I have a laptop now instead of an iPad, which is nice. First of all, congrats. Unfortunately, I only have enough time to stay for just like to ask my question. So make your answers good. Also, Andrew, I apologize. I fell asleep and came after you after you did your talk. But my first question is, I think everyone knows pre-existing relationships were like a big part of this game. And I want to hear how those affected your game and what you did in spite of them or to help them, or like how did who you knew affect how you played the game? Y'all can answer in whatever way you want.
I'll go first. So I knew Andrew, Brian, and Angel going into the game, having played with all 3 of them before, and we were a good friend. I didn't know they were playing until we started, and it was helpful because especially when I was feeling really low in the first few days, they were a massive boost to me and gave me the confidence I needed to really just get my head back into the game and get myself going. We were loyal for a majority of the game up until the final 9, then the crack started to show. But I didn't just settle there. As I said, I made connections with others. I made connections with Logan. I made connections with Darnell. I made a really good connection with Cody. I made connection with you, Bridget. We had a really, really amazing call. With the longest call this entire game. It was awesome. And on those connections, I used those connections, and they enabled me to obviously stay when I was nominated in round 3. It meant that round 4, it meant that I could move my way through the game with these connections. But having played with Angel before, and having with a few of the trust issues that were highlighted throughout this game, made me slightly concerned for him. And knowing how much of a beast he is that come to the end game, I knew top 9 that we need to make a move to try and get him out. Which is, even though I knew him and we were really good friends, I knew the best for my game would be to get him out. So I used my other resources, my other allies I made throughout the game that weren't in that group, plus Brian, to try and get him out, and it failed until the final 6. But then we finally managed to get him out. But yeah, so I used my previous game relationship to help me, but I also didn't just rest on those. I used my new relationships and my new game relationships, and I found those equally as important in this game.
Logan or Andrew?
Okay, so I did not know anybody coming into this game except Dylan, who I played 1 mini with. And so right off the bat, I figured I may as well lock Dylan in this right away. And so I made a deal with him that we would not nominate each other or vote each other out. And that was the only help I had coming in terms of pre-existing relationships. Of course, I could tell that there were a lot of people, either because they told me or because it was obvious based on the game and how it started, that Brian had a lot of friends. Brian did win. He was one of the 2 that won the first HOH, which was essentially a popularity contest. And so that was, again, part of going back to my opening speech, where I had to rally numbers as best I could against Brian, because I knew that there was no way I was going to be near the top of his list in the long run. So anybody who claimed or said that they were with Brian, like as a pre-existing relationship, was one of the people that was considered my enemy early on. That obviously changed when the mechanics of the game happened and, deals were made and broken and whatnot. But at first, that's how I started off the game.
All right, Logan.
So yeah, I feel very passionate about this point in this question. I knew no one coming in. The only person I knew of was you, Bridget, actually. And so I was happy to make an alliance with you and John and then Tom and then eventually Darnell and Andrew S. I think I had to overcome that though. At the end of the day, Brian said a good lesson to me on one of our calls. He said, you have to go where the power is in this game. And I go, well, there's 4 rounds here. There's no power in my alliance. I need to go somewhere else. I need to make new relationships and I need to figure out how to approach all of these pre-existing relationships and the alliances that we learned about in the first few rounds. And I think I did that exceptionally well. I entered in an alliance with Brian and Sam, let them, sort of use me for a little while. That gave Dylan and I the opportunity to strategize round after round and talk about who do we want to evict. By the way, my voting record is absolutely perfect except for Dylan's eviction. So take that for what it's worth. I think I understood the new relationships I had to make in the game. And I think I understood them better than arguably most people, but definitely these 2 finalists here.
All right, Bridget.
How much more time do I have?
You have 4 minutes and 52 seconds.
Okay, so I have one question in particular, one kind of question for one person. I think people would be surprised at what I would say hurt me the most in this game. And it was Sam not answering me back when I messaged him when I was being evicted. It was not Cody blindsiding me, who was one of my closest allies, and it wasn't Logan, who also blindsided me. Why didn't you respond to me? Because I texted a few people and I saw you texting me. Why? And it was one of the things that I kept thinking back to. I was like, he just burned me. What was it? Why didn't you answer me?
No, I appreciate that. It was, in all honesty, I didn't know what was happening. At one point, I typed out, "Oh, you're fine," and then at the other point, I typed out, "Oh, no, you're not," and I didn't know what was happening. And I was talking to my alliance, and literally until the last second, I didn't know where the vote was going to go, and that's why it was literally the last second thing. And so I probably should have responded as soon as I knew, but it was literally just before we voted that I knew exactly what was going to happen. But I did type out, because as you say, you saw me typing. I did type out, "Oh, you're fine. You're going to be fine," and I also typed out, "Oh no." But then I didn't know what was going to happen, so that's why I didn't respond. And I knew you were upset with how you left the chat, and that made me sad because we did get on really, really well, and we had a really, really nice call, which, as I said, was the longest one and one of the most cool. So, and I do apologise for that because I should have. Nobody likes to be left on red, and it wasn't an intentional thing. It's just the craziness of that round and how up and down the vote was.
Well, that's all the questions I have. Good luck to everyone. I'll try and stay and listen for a bit, but I have things I have to do before work. But good luck to all 3 of you.
All right. Well, Bridget, when you go, make sure to pre-vote. And yeah. All right. So now we will be moving on. We're not going to go in order because this person needs to go at a certain time. So Dylan, your 10 minutes start now.
Yes, I'm sorry. I hate to be that person that has to leave early. I'm gonna stand up because I like to stand. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. I just want to first say that this game I did have a lot of fun. I definitely want to say I definitely feel like a lot of people are not a fan of me. So I hope that that's not the case after the game. I am open to have conversations. I just was here to have fun, and I know I can kind of get a little mean at times, so I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on to my statements or questions. My first thing I want to say is, Sam, you said in your opening statement that you voted me out because I didn't give you, I didn't say, oh, I was number 2 for you, right? That's why you said you voted me out, correct?
It was made clear that I was your number. I wasn't your number 2. I wasn't your number 1. I was your
okay.
number 2. Yeah.
Now, I just want to say that Luis said at, Final 9 or Final 10, that this game had a Final 3. And we all knew what the format of the final round was going to be. And everyone knew, like, I'm just gonna say, the jury has even said your only shot at winning was against me and Logan. So I don't think you really made a right move here. And I think that you will soon see that you will regret that move. And I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry that you might not be too happy. Anyway, moving on. Andrew S., I will say, things you said were correct. We did make that deal the first day and you were pretty much loyal to that. So thank you for that. You were loyal. My question to you is, had you won power, where would your loyalty really have lied? Like, who would you have put up? Like, I don't know, like let's say top 10 or something like that.
There was a good 3 or 4 week span. Oh, did something happen? Okay, sorry. On how made a face, I thought something happened. Sorry. There was a good 3 or 4 week span where my nominees would have been Brian and Andrew I, because Brian and I had a deal to protect each other until jury. Neither of us knew that jury was going to start very early. So as soon as we hit top 13, that deal expired and I could then go against Brian again. I had a deal obviously with you, never to nominate you. So you weren't going up. I had a deal with Darnell to never put him up. He was my ride or die. He was never going up. Sam, I was not going to nominate until final 8. So he was not going up. And Cody, I had a deal not to nominate him until final 7. So he was not going up. So that left me with very few numbers. I didn't want to put up Angel because we had a good relationship going. So really it was going to be Brian and Andrew I, with the potential of Javier or Logan, depending on what happened in the round and what was going on as the replacement nominee. And that was from the top 13 up until the triple was my plan if I had ever won out of household.
Okay, thank you. Now I'm going to move on to Logan. I mean, it's been a very long ride that we've played in this game. So, yeah. I mean, the only thing I really want to know is, would you have ever cut me in this game?
No, absolutely not. I would have taken you to the final 2, even if you were the better player than me, all said and done, because I just wanted to see what happened. You're the one person in the game I felt like I could trust everything with that wouldn't cut me. Absolutely.
Okay, and I wouldn't have cut you either, which I already told you as I was leaving. Okay, so I'm trying to think of something else I want to ask. I want to say in the opening statements, another thing that was said was, Andrew, you said that you were playing 2 games at once when the game started. I feel like that really doesn't matter, to be honest. So just probably shouldn't talk about that, because if you don't have the time, don't sign up to play 2 games. What else do I want to say? I don't know. Logan, you probably want to start saying a couple of things to help your game, because I think a lot of people in the jury have negative feelings about you, which I'm not really sure why, because maybe we played the game better than them. I don't really know, but
I would guess that this jury values loyalty a lot and a social game a lot more than maybe we did. And that's fair. That's just not how I felt like I could play the game. I felt like our backs were against the wall, and what were we supposed to do?
Yeah, I do want to say as well, you pretty much didn't really do anything wrong. Everyone is so mad because we went to the side with power, but wouldn't you have done, I think anyone here would have done the same thing as well.
Quite literally, I would have been nominated by Brian if I had not done that, quite literally. So I don't see how it's any clearer than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think people really should give Logan a chance. I really think people need to let him say his mind, and I wish certain people were here in the jury, because there are some people that really don't seem to be fans of yours that seem to have a lot to say in the jury chat, but now when it's time to say things, they didn't have anything. They're not here.
Yeah, I mean, I said this to Sam tonight. I was very disappointed that we didn't all 3 equally have a chance to talk to everyone. But it's a jury. They get to decide.
Yes, and I don't really think I have anything else to say. I honestly came into this thinking I was going to have all 10 minutes I was going to say, but that clearly didn't happen. Good luck, and thank you for a fun game, and may the best person win.
Thank you, Dylan. Now we're gonna go with Brian because Brian also has to do something really quick. So Brian, I will start your 10 minutes now.
Okay, before I go on with my questions, again, congratulations to the three of you. I'm legitimately very happy that you guys are there. I think it would have been happy for everyone else, but for some reason now I'm like in a situation where I'm forcing myself to listen to all three of you so I can make a good decision in my vote. And just to respond to what Logan said, like, he does not know why Sam and I decided to work with him when we really had nothing to gain. But the reality is, I legitimately liked Dylan so much. Like, Dylan and I had a really bad game before, but I enjoyed talking to Dylan. Like, he does not talk to a lot of people, but he talked to me, so I kind of love that. My first question would be for Logan. Logan, when I look at a game, there are three different characters that I always see. One is going to be the villain or the antagonist, one is going to be the hero or the protagonist, and one is a supporting character. Sometimes the supporting characters steal the show. I want to know from your perspective which role you played and why you think I should reward that role my vote.
I think all things considered, context and everything, right? Not just like in my head, that I would be considered the supporting character. Maybe to Dylan, maybe to you, Brian, or Sam. Ultimately, though, Dylan and I kind of hid behind the sidelines and we made tons of decisions together. We tried to push people to evict certain people when it was good for us. And ultimately, I overcame my inability to win some competitions. I beat Cody in quite a few. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a big deal. Maybe you don't think so. But I started out really rough, really, like I was really bad. Okay. But at the end of the day, you know, I won 5 comps and there's 4 more comps where 1 point gets me the difference. And I'm just as competitive as Cody. So I feel like it could have been the protagonist, but social game keeps me as a supporting coming in.
Okay, I hope you guys get to watch the jury roundtable later on because I ended up saying a lot of really positive things about you. Like I came into the jury knowing that you don't have a chance at my vote, but after sleeping on it, I was like, I really like the way he played. So there it is. Andrew, I would ask you the same question. I want to know which role you think you played and why should I reward that role my vote?
Well, anytime somebody calls themselves a hero, it comes off looking narcissist. So I hope it doesn't in this case. But I do, in this specific game, see myself as the hero because I created the alliance between Darnell, Jonathan, Bridget, and I as sort of the anti-Brian side. And Tom got added to that a little, Logan got added to that a little and whatnot, but that was my core 4. And when I lost the 3 of them, it was kind of like when Sandra lost Boston Rob, Tyson, and Courtney in Heroes versus Villains. She had to scrap and she was all on her own. And every single round after Darnell left, I was on my own fighting from the bottom week after week. And so that's why I kind of see myself as the hero in this case. And that's my answer.
Okay. Sam, I have a different question for you because I thought what you did in this game was very different from what everyone did in this game. And if I'm going to vote for you, it's going to be because of 2 things. Number 1 is social awareness, and number 2 is knowing how relationships work. Now, I want to see that I'm not just deluded because we're good friends, or I'm not biased because I like you as a person. I want you to tell me who you believe each juror would vote for and why.
Oh, goodness me.
They
Okay.
are here, so they will get offended if you assume wrongly. So this is, I'm telling you, thread carefully, but use your social awareness. Who do you think each juror would vote for and why?
Okay. Oof. I would say, I would say Dylan would vote for Logan for multiple reasons. They've played the entire game together. Logan was entirely loyal to him the entire time, whereas Andrew and I weren't. And it's evident that loyalty is a massive, massive thing for Dylan. Oh my goodness me! I would say. Sorry, it's a tricky question. I would say that Andrew I would probably. Andrew's a tricky one. I don't know. I don't think where his vote would lie. I think Andrew would probably vote for me. I would say because of the fact that we played the game together the entire way through, and although he was upset with me on the way out, I think after reflection, I hope you'd understand why I didn't do what I needed to do. I think Angel would vote for Andrew. I think because of the fact that Andrew played, as he said himself, a very heroic game. He played a very, very honest game, and he was loyal to the people he said he was going to be loyal to throughout, which I think Angel really, really respects. Javier, I would say, would probably vote for Andrew as well for exactly the same reason. I would say it's a toss-up between me and Logan. Me because you know more than probably anyone else. My strategizing, we strategized a lot together. We spoke a lot together about different plans going forward and what different plays we should do. And I came to you with ideas. You came to me with ideas, and we talked it out. So you know more than anyone else my strategy. But also think you respect Logan's game and Logan's game of loyalty as well. Darnell, I would say Darnell would vote for Andrew because he was extremely close with Andrew, and Andrew showed him a lot of loyalty, a lot of trust. I would say the same with Tom, exactly the same reasons. John, see, John's a toss-up between Logan and Andrew, for very similar reasons. As they were really, really close. Logan and Andrew showed him loyalty, and I feel that's important to him. Bridget, I don't think Bridget will be voting for me. Based on our last interaction, I think Bridget will be voting for probably Andrew, because they were close. They had a lot of loyalty, a lot of trust in the game. Yes, so that's why I think everyone would vote. It's really hard to predict where everyone would vote, but that's my opinion anyway.
You forgot Cody.
Oh, I can never forget Cody.
He's not important. He was just
Sorry.
like non-existent this season, so we
No.
can't ignore him.
Cody, I think Cody respects gameplay, and I think he's, aside from you, was probably the person I strategized with most. So I think Cody would probably vote for me. Probably not anymore. Probably vote for me, or no, I would say he would probably vote for me or vote for Andrew because of the fact that he works from the bottom and works his way up, and I think he respects that game as well.
Okay, that's it. Thank you to all the finalists. I don't think we all had the easiest start, but I'm very happy that at the end of the game, we all ended up finding a place of respect and appreciation for each other. So good luck to whoever wins.
Okay, guys. So I actually have a clip from Jonathan. I'm going to try to screen share that real quick. It's just a minute and something. So let's just get that out of the way. Hopefully I can do it. I don't know if I can screen, since we are live on YouTube. So hopefully this does work. So yeah, let me share that right now. Can you guys see my screen?
Oh, I love it still.
Can you hear it? Hold on, let me see if you can hear it. Hold on.
So I'm gonna ask some questions.
You can hear? Okay.
Congratulations to you guys, by the way. Jesus, I just finished an essay. My first question is for Andrew. I know you had a really good social game. I saw that you had no blood on the jury, but I wanted to ask you, what was a defining moment for you in this game? What was something that was big? What big move that you did to get you where you were, besides social game being great and no one being angry with you?
Okay, so I will start his 10 minutes up. We'll you just have that. So you can go answer, Andrew.
I think a big move I made was when I saw that my Jonathan, Tom, Darnell, Bridget ship was sinking, that even though I was loyal to them, I still made these side deals with people on the other side, such as my deal with Brian not to put him up until jury, deal with Cody not to put him up until final 7, deal with Sam not to put him up until final 8, so that if one of those 3 won, and Cody did have a win in Bridget's week and Brian did have a win in Tom's week, that I not only was I safe, but I wasn't even touching the block. And that's how I was able to be the last man standing of my side of the house. And that's probably the reason why I'm here the most, because if I just said screw you to Brian and all of his allies, I could have easily been picked off at the time that Darnell, Jonathan, Tom were.
Okay. Let's see.
For Sam, I wanted to ask why you chose the route you did, and why, if you had other people to go to the finale with, who would you choose instead? And if you think that route would have worked in your favor.
Okay.
I want to say thank you for asking. Now, the route I took, I chose the route I took initially with a group of people that I was comfortable with, that I knew already, which were Angel, Andrew, and Brian. But I also ensured that I was good with the majority of the rest of the people in the game. The only people I didn't have a good relationship with were Missy and Tom, and I made sure that by me making sure social, making sure making connections with people, that put me in good standing. And as I said earlier, it meant I wasn't really in much danger. And even when I was in danger during the time I was first nominated, I made sure I used my relationship, which I'd already started to build with Andrew, that when Brian came down, and that Andrew would put up someone who was going to go home against me. And that's unfortunately why Missy went home. If I was sorry, I'll carry on. After the eviction, I called Andrew pretty much straight away once he'd finished eating, and we patched up straight away, and that's when we made the pact, because it's stupid to hold grudges in these games. I've learned from previous experience. So and then that pact obviously helped me. Whatever, if he was going to win power, which he didn't, but would have meant that I was safe, which was good. In terms of the final 3, I'm different, and it touched upon what Dylan said earlier. I really respect the game that we play, and I want people at the end with me who I feel have played the best game. And whether that works in my favor or not, that is absolutely fine. So I would have definitely wanted Cody in the end with me. Because we had that trust built from the get-go. And even when I betrayed that trust slightly when judging, when lying about the data being transferred, he was gracious enough to just accept it, to be very much like, okay, that's fine, thank you for telling the truth. And he was just very, very honest and very, very genuine, and that trust continued to build. And he played a phenomenal game. So I would have wanted him at the end, and in the same vein, I would have wanted Brian in the end. And I know I wouldn't have won against either of those, but I have respect for the game. I respect the people that showed me nothing but loyalty the entire game, and I would have wanted those to be at the end with me, because loyalty is a massive, massive thing for me.
Okay, let me go on screen share again.
And for Logan, I wanted to ask you how you think you were loyal to people in this game, besides to Logan. I mean, besides to Dylan. Because I know you had multiple deals with multiple people, and I wanted to see how you explain why you had to do what you do to make it where you were, and why that is justified for you to win this game. That's all.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good question. It speaks to my journey. Why did I turn on Bridget, John, Tom, Darnell, Andrew S., but kind of not Andrew S.? Ultimately, I feel that I would have been evicted 5th. If I was against Darnell, I think they would have kept Darnell. I'd be out of the door. I would have gotten pre-jury, and I wouldn't be sitting here today. To Andrew's point earlier, I think I played the same game he did, but faster. I anticipated these things, so I wasn't in the bottom or nominated. I definitely was working out of a hole from the beginning. When you are working an alliance that can't win HOHs, POVs, or have any of the twists of powers from the store, again, what are you supposed to do? Go down a sinking ship and say, that's cool? I mean, I wasn't going to do that when John and Bridget were talking to everyone, and they were probably going to outlast me and maybe take a similar journey I made in the game. I mean, ultimately, Dylan was the one person I was most loyal to because I knew he would be loyal to me. And that's what it comes down to. Everyone else already had tons of people that they would be more loyal to than me. And so I was quid pro quo in this game. I was fluid. I made deals that would get me to the next round because I was in the same boat as Andrew, I feel. I really do feel I was in the same boat. And I just played it better on paper, but maybe I messed up. Maybe the jury doesn't like me, and that's okay. I just think I did the best I could, and thanks.
All right, well, that is Jonathan's segment. Is everyone good on their time? Good. Does anyone need to go like really quick? Like, because I have a video from Tom, but his is 3 minutes, so it'll be quick. Everybody good? Or does anyone need to like go? No? Everybody good? Okay. All right. Well, let me start off with Tom's so we can just get Tom's out of the way. Tom, Andrew, I did not send anything in. So let me get Tom's thing. Let's see. Okay, let me send that right to okay.
Hello.
All right, here we go. All righty, guys.
Hello.
Can you hear?
I have been asked to record a statement as I cannot be here in person on the video call, as I am most likely at this time either writing a paper or taking an exam. I want everyone to know I am so proud of you for getting here. You know, you did it. Good for you. I would ask you a question, but I want to get an answer back. So I'm just going to have to go based off my gut feeling. It says this has to be 5 minutes long, but I don't know if that's a maximum or a minimum. So we're going to write it out and see how close we can get to that very amount. I'm going to start by addressing you one by one. Sam, I don't have much to say. I don't think we talked much in this game. I think you fell into a pretty good alliance early on where you were not in danger. And I don't think you fell much in danger, at least while I was in the game. And quite honestly, even after the fact. So good on you for that. But I will be honest that my perception of the game up until that point, I don't really think that you did much other than just aligning with the right people. Logan and I were close in the game, but there was just some communication mishaps at the end. I think Logan was really quick to jump ship, which, whatever works for him. I'm not sure if everyone has thought about jury management and how, the decisions they made are going to affect, especially some of these early on votes. But, good on you. You do whatever decision's best for you. And Andrew and I had a weird game together where every time he told me he was going to vote for me, I said, I understand, and that makes sense. Andrew S. was someone that I don't think had many people throughout the whole game, and everyone that he did not have any power. I'm not sure, once again, what took place once I was gone because I didn't go back and watch. I've been a good little jury member, but all that's left for me now is no answers because I can't ask you any questions.
So tonight, my vote will be off my perception on who played the best game, who was against the biggest odds getting to this spot now, and how you got to where you got. This is only half the time limit. So I was going to sing a song, but I decided that I think 5 minutes was the maximum, so I'm probably good. I love you lots. Special shout out to, yeah, so everyone have a great night. And it was so nice talking to you. Good luck, everybody.
Please, everyone, tell me they saw his little thing pop up of his music. All right. So what we're gonna do is, since he didn't ask questions, I will give you guys each 2 minutes to answer like what he said, like rebuttal, I guess, like from what the comments he made. So Sam, your 2 minutes starts now since he mentioned you.
Yeah, no, I agree that I wasn't really in any immediate danger. That was because of the relationships I made, and that was because of the alliances that I either found myself in or I created or I orchestrated myself. I don't agree with the fact that I did nothing, because there were lots and lots of points of the game where I strategized with many people and alliances were made. Some of them short-lived, some of them lasted a bit longer. I feel I strengthened my bonds with people that were winning competitions, which meant that I was never going to be, as I say, in danger. I feel that I strategized well throughout the game. I always thought 2-3 steps ahead, and from the majority of the time, what I wanted to happen happened, besides the Brian and the Andrew vote, unfortunately. So yeah, that's my response to that, really.
All right. And I believe Logan, he mentioned you, so you can.
Yeah, he mentioned us all. I mean, I think he makes a fair point about jury management, but the thing I feel I've done is I've told basically everyone I've evicted before I've evicted them, except for maybe a couple of exceptions. I'm not sure if I said that to Javier, that around he was evicted, and out of anyone else here, I think Javier is the only one I dropped the ball on that. So I'm sorry. I don't know what I should have done. I don't know if I should have asked Kiss more. I thought people would not like that because it's not honest. You know, if I said, "Oh, I love you," okay, go on out of the game, you know, and going between positioning, I don't think there's ever a clean way to do that. Like Andrew said, when you have relationships with everyone in the game, more or less, and some people I should have worked on more, like Javier, I should have talked to you more in general. I will admit that. But when you're doing that and you have these key players you're focusing on, it's a little hard because the water will get into the other water and suddenly your game's muddied and no one trusts you. So I was playing a very careful game. That's why I did what I did. I wish Tom was here so we could talk about the end of our time together. I think it could have been better.
All right, Andrew.
Okay, so one thing that Tom mentioned was how I told him 3 times in a row that I'm voting him out. And that's the truth, because I'm an honest player. He asked me and I said, I'm sorry, I made a deal with Bridget, Jonathan, and Darnell right off the bat. We made a 4-person alliance, and those were the people. And I said this to them in my when I was head of household, you're the 4 that I want to ride or die with. And so when it came down to Tom or Bridget, I voted to evict Tom, even though I knew he was staying. And when it came down to Tom or Jonathan, I voted to evict Tom, even though I knew Tom was staying. And when it came down to Darnell versus Cody, I voted to evict Cody, even though I knew Cody was staying. So it depends on the jury's perception of what they see in a winner, because Logan did say he was always in the majority of the vote. And that's true. I was in the minority of the vote a lot. But as a heroic player, I stick with my army no matter what, and I go down with them no matter what, and I'm not going to vote with the majority just because that's the majority. There's nothing more than I'm just saying for myself, there's nothing more than I hate when you watch Big Brother and you have to spend 5 minutes with Julie saying, let's see how this person votes. I vote to evict Michael, and it's 10 Michaels, and you want those 5 minutes of your life back. If I want to vote for Jonathan or Bridget or Darnell to stay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to stick with my numbers. I'm not just going to vote in the majority so I can say I voted in the majority every time. And so that's why often I was in the minority. And same goes for Javier and Angel. If I could have voted in that one, I had my vote stolen in the Javier one, and I was nominated next to Angel, I would have voted to keep them too, even though I knew they were both going out.
All right. So the next person we will move on to is Darnell. So Darnell, your time minute start now.
All right. So congrats to the final three. I want to see your faces while I'm talking to you. Yeah, congrats. I have a few questions that are separate and then one that's kind of together. So question for everybody really quick. What was the hardest part about the game, or like what was the hardest decision that you'd have made in the game? Anybody can start.
I'll start. Yeah, the hardest decision for me was jumping from my first Ride or Die Alliance and evicting Bridget. I mean, it was a big step for me. And to that point, you know, there were 7 different votes where I was a potential swing vote with someone. So to say that I voted in the majority is not even accurate. I voted in the majority because I made a lot of decisions. That was the hardest one, Bridget, by far.
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, my hardest part of the game was round 10 when Andrew and I went. Obviously, I had the power where I could have chosen to take over Cody's nominations, and I didn't. Partly because Cody and I were really, really close, and I knew Cody wanted Angel out, which is what I wanted at that point. Because as I mentioned before, I know how Angel plays. He's an absolute beast, especially when it comes to the end game. So I wanted him out before that, so he wouldn't start winning every single competition like I've seen him do before. So that was really, really hard, and I know how it was. It was also hard on a personal level because I know how hurt Andrew was that I didn't use the power that round. But I was convinced on how I was going until post-meeting, and then I realised that there was nothing that could be done. And then, but as I said, I still voted to evict Angel because I gave my word to Andrew I'd never evict him, and that stuck. But that was the hardest thing, and I'm looking forward to talking to him afterwards and patching things up.
Okay, just to be clear, because you cut out, the question was, what was the hardest part of the game for you?
Yeah, or like what was the hardest decision that you had to make?
Okay, so the hardest part of the game for me by far was the week that Logan used his DDoS power, because it put us all in a position where we just were playing in a competition, and whoever won or whoever lost rather was out of the game. And I'm not going to make no excuses. I am terrible at competitions, always have, always will be. And as a fan of Survivor and Big Brother, I've always been a believer that Big Brother is a social game first, a strategic game second, and a competitive game third. And so to have it all come down to competitions kind of sucked for me. And I don't blame Logan for that. Logan did what he had to do with that power. It was a shitty situation. And I remember, especially after losing the Bitcoin part, I really genuinely thought I was done. And that was the only time when I felt in serious danger, except for maybe last night when Logan was about to announce who he was going to evict. But besides that, that was the only time when I felt in serious danger, because I couldn't use my mouth to get out of trouble. I couldn't use any strategy to get out of trouble. There was nothing I could do except win. And fortunately I did. But that was definitely the round where I was at the lowest of my low.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. So first, individual questions, Sam. I wrote them out so I wouldn't forget. So honestly, I think I talked to you the most out of anybody, even Andrew. And I think you're just a really great guy, and I like talking to you a lot. I think you're super funny. But what was our relationship about? So because I feel like we talked a lot. We didn't talk a whole lot of game. And it felt like I was being led on, but not at the same time, just because like there was at one point, like whenever you lied about the data transfer and then I called you out about it. Mm-hmm. And so I still don't know whether that was true or not, that you sent me what you sent me, because the numbers didn't match up. So my first question is, what was our relationship about? And then second question is, did you send me the data that you said you did?
Okay, our relationship. Yeah, we had a complicated relationship because, as you said about me, I think you're an awesome guy. I really enjoyed connecting with you and chatting with you, and we had some really good conversations, and I thoroughly enjoyed those. It was a weird one because obviously there was that alliance that never really was with you, me, and Logan, which didn't really ever go anywhere. And because straight away from that I knew that you and it is an alliance, it made me not fully trust you. And then I think that trust was reciprocated both ways, and I think we never ever got back. We never ever got to a fully trusting level. Because at the start, before I knew about the other alliance and stuff, I really did trust you. And I wanted you to be a part of the game long term. But then when it came to that, and then the game shifted, and my relationship shifted. I realized that I didn't think there wouldn't be a way where you would be part of the long-term game with me there, unfortunately. But no, as I say, as a guy, I think you're absolutely amazing, and I did really enjoy talking to you. Although we didn't talk much game, I really enjoyed our conversations, and if I don't say again, I really hope everything goes well with the fostering and stuff. And no, yeah, I didn't send you any picture. I'm sorry.
I know. I think
I'm sorry. But I realized I was caught. I was like, oh no. I really wanted there to be some trust there. I was like, oh no. I've been out, I've been bamboozled. That was it. But no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I knew you didn't send me any, and I knew you had to like cover your tracks, but I really did have your back, and I really wanted to take you as close like to the end, or like be with you to the end. And I told Andrew that, and he kind of the same, was like on the same board. Like, he, out of your whole group, you're like the last one that wanted to like evict. Anyway, so last question for you, Sam, is like, what was your biggest move? Because I was with Andrew S most of the game, except for the end. So I want to hear like the ending of his game. And then Brian kind of told me some of Logan's game, but I have questions for him. So what was your biggest move in the game?
My biggest move, it was a collection of small moves. I didn't really make any big flashy moves in this game. I made lots of smaller moves. I made sure I had made amazing social relationships with a lot of people in the game. I made sure that I moved. I was aligned with the correct people at the correct time, which meant that I was never really in danger. I played a very much under the radar game, but it didn't mean I wasn't strategizing. Doesn't mean I wasn't constantly talking to people, constantly strategizing, constantly thinking, okay, in 2 rounds' time, what could we do here? What move could we do here? I would say that's a big reason why I'm here, because I situated myself in a group, whether it was with people that I knew already, or whether it was with new people that I'd formed genuine connections with. I feel that's the move I made to get me here. It wasn't a big flashy move, and I didn't make any of those, but I played very much under the radar game, and I'm proud of the game I played.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, just for the sake of time, I'm gonna keep going. Logan, so whenever me and Cody were on the block, why not vote out Cody instead of me? And like, how did that help you?
Absolutely. That sounds
not
insane.
that I'm bitter at all, but
No, right,
I just want to know your thoughts. Yeah.
Absolutely. It sounds insane on paper. I am the person to say anyone. Cody is King Cody. He's so hard to get out. You can barely nominate him, let alone do anything to him. Ultimately, I took the risk. I said, you know what? There's still Cody in the game, and there's still Angel in the game, and they're going to come after each other like roaring bulls, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I also kept Angel in the Andrew I eviction. Okay, and that worked out well enough to get me pushed next to the edge of the end. And I think that was my intention going into your eviction. Sorry. I think we could have worked together with better circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah. Andrew S. I guess I don't really have a question, but I'll go back to Logan. Logan, I am sad that the other people or jurors can't be here, because I feel like hearing from Brian and a couple other people about how you played, I think you did play a really, really good game. And I think coming like before that, I didn't think that. And I see your moves that you made and how you played. So I applaud you for that. So your game does not go unnoticed. Andrew, I would just say, I feel like your social game was impeccable. I really appreciated how true and honest, like, I'm gonna say this because Jonathan isn't here, but I threw out Jonathan's name whenever, I can't remember what round it was, but I threw Jonathan's name out there just because I wanted to safe. And Andrew told me, like, I'm not going to do that just because I'm loyal to them. And I was really, I guess, shocked by that, because it's like a game where you lie. And he didn't want to do that. And so I felt like this whole game you played with honesty, and you were on the bottom the whole time. And I think you had the hardest road to get to where you are now. So I applaud you guys, and I'm done.
All right, awesome. All right, let's move
Can I
on.
just really quickly respond to that? It's 10 seconds.
Yes, go ahead.
I think what you were referring to was when you, me, Jonathan, and Bridget made a Bitcoin deal to give each other, I think, some outrageously high number to each other. And you called me to say, I don't know if I want to do this to give Jonathan and Bridget this much. And I said, no, we have to. They're with us. Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next member of the jury, we will go to Javier. Javier, your 10 minutes start now.
Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations to all three. I think you have done what we all wanted to do. I think that's a reason why the jury feels so strongly about some things, because we all played hard and we all wanted to be there. So congratulations, that's a huge achievement. Another thing I wanted to say is, I know we are under the impression that the jury has a decision made, but before the finale, some of the jurors got together and we got on a call and a kind of a round table, and we discovered that yes, it's still up in the air and we all have our open minds about it. So don't worry about whatever you've been hearing that we've been talking in the group chat. So I didn't really know what I wanted to ask, but I do have a question. Whenever we play a game like this, when we look back on our game, we all have that one moment where we think, or when we said, okay, I really screwed this up, I'm going home, I'm eliminated. And it's the case for all of us jurors. We did have that one moment and we were eliminated. But that didn't happen with the three of you. You managed to get past that mistake. So my question for the three of you is, what was that moment in your game when you thought, I lost it, this is the end for me, and how you managed to get past it and make it to the end? Andrew, go first.
Okay. For me, the moment when I realized that there was a very good chance I could make it to the end was when Angel won HOH the second time and told me he wanted to put up Cody. And I thought to myself, if he does this, then that entire Brian side is now essentially crushed with a hammer. And now there is a chance that I could squeak through the middle and actually get to the end. Because if Angel stuck with Cody and with Sam, there's no way I would be here right now. And so that was, I remember that was the moment where the light bulb went off in my head where, holy crap. So of course, when Angel suggested that to me, I'm like, yeah, of course. And when he said Darnell was going to go up as the other nominee, I actually said yes, because I genuinely thought nobody was going to vote Darnell, who had won 0 competitions at that point, out over Cody. So I didn't really think Darnell was in any actual danger. So yeah, I mean, I said go along with that. And then, of course, Cody stayed, which in a weird way, obviously I voted for Darnell to stay. In a weird way, that might have helped me even more in that the Cody Angel sort of thing was going on. And it also sort of took Andrew I and Javier off that side, because it kind of pissed them off that, or definitely pissed Andrew I off that Cody was staying. And so it created so much of a mess that it helped me carry on through, which I don't think I would have otherwise.
Okay. Logan?
Sorry, do we all get the same? So we all get the same question, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
what's the hardest moment
What's-
that we pulled ourselves out of, essentially, right?
Yes, the moment that you can look back on and say, I almost lost it there. I almost was eliminated.
Sure.
I made a mistake there that I shouldn't have made, but somehow you got past it.
You know, I will argue against the notion that for voting purposes, I made any mistakes. I think the hardest thing for me was to beat Cody in these clutch competitions at the end, the last HOH and the final 5 POV. I think I'd be evicted if I hadn't done that. And that's when I was like, shoot, I need to win a competition finally for sure. And then I wasn't sure if he was going to go after me or Andrew round 4 anyway. But that would be my answer, genuinely.
Okay. Sam?
I would say the time when I felt most in danger was round 3 and round 4. Round 3 because I was nominated, and because I had at the start I wasn't completely present because of everything I had going on. I hadn't built those initial bonds with everyone as I would normally like to do, but obviously changed that. But that's when I felt concerned. But then, as I said, I spoke to Andrew as soon as the veto was won by Brian. I spoke to Andrew, and my relationship with him and with him wanting me to stay in the game, he put Missy up because he thought Missy was correct, that Missy was a guaranteed to go against me. And then obviously round 4, we all know my competition track record is awful. I've not won a single thing. And I knew that as soon as the DDoS was played, I was in a lot of trouble because I know that I wouldn't have won the endurance and the last part. I would not have won the second part. If I didn't have a group of people that I was close with that were strongly aligned with me, who knew I wasn't very good at competitions and knew that this was the best chance for me to stay, and then with majority of them giving me a lot of their data, I probably wouldn't be here, in all honesty, because if I hadn't have won that one, I would not have won the second part for sure, and I would not have won the third part for sure. So it would be me gone instead of Eric. So that was when I felt most in danger. But from then on, as soon as that week was over, I didn't really feel in danger. I feel like I situated myself really well with different people, and I planned out every single scenario in my head. If this person wins, what's going to happen? If this person wins, what's going to happen? If this person goes, how will I work from here? And I made sure that I was situated in the best possible way moving forward. I didn't feel in danger from round 5 onwards.
Okay. Luis, I don't know how much time I have left.
You have like 2.5, I think.
Right, you have 3 minutes and 13 seconds left.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't have anything more to say. Just say again, congratulations. My vote, my vote was decided before, like an hour ago, and right now it's just up in the air. And well, I guess I yield the rest of my time to Cody and Angel, 1 minute each. So use it wisely.
Okay, so we will go with Angel. Hold on, don't start yet. Give me 1 second.
Oh my God, not Angel. Thank you.
Hold on, let me set up. I had to move rooms. But can you guys hear me good? Testing 1, 2. All righty, Angel, your time starts. I'm just joking. I would do that on purpose. Your time starts now.
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations, 3 of you making it here. You can all hear me, right? Yes. Okay. Congratulations making it all here. I am very proud of each and one of you, and know that what we talked in this game, I truly cherish it, no matter how petty or bitter I was in my eviction. I want to say good things about your game first, and then the bad things about your game. So I'll start with Sam. Sam, we were together. We know each other from a past game, and I really admire your loyalty in the beginning of the game. You have powers. You revealed these powers to us. You revealed the powers that you used against certain people that you wanted to be against with, and that was actually good. However, you started not trusting me, and on the roundtable tonight, it was because you were being told what to do. And that is a sad part, in my opinion, of your game. Brian threw fire at you, Cody threw fire at you, making you even more to not trust me, which was fine. It's part of the game to not trust me. I'll do admit Sam was not my final 4 or 5 eventually, because I also had that fear that Sam was gonna cut me. And that's okay. That's part of the game. So that's mostly it in that game. So Sam, I do not understand your game much. I said that on the round table, and I want to understand why you didn't come to me. Why didn't you say at the beginning, I am having these feelings, Angel, why that I don't trust you? Why is that? Why didn't you come to me and talk, and then you just listen to Cody and Brian about it?
You are partly right. It was partly because I was being told things that you were doing which were not in line with what the Alliance were doing, like leaking the Dorcas Forbes Alliance, for example, things like that. And that there were things I was told. I was also very suspicious just because I was observing your relationships with certain people and how you were pushing certain people a bit too hard to stay. And that's all these things combined. Yes, I was told things. Yes, I also had the perception, and also having a back, having an opinion of you from before. I would have started this game afresh, but then it seemed like a lot of the things that was happening in this game were reflected in our last game a little bit, which is why I started not to trust you. Could you repeat your question? I'm so sorry.
Why didn't you come to me and address these trusting issues, and instead you listen to them? And I'm gonna take my advantage of these 10 minutes. So
okay, so I didn't come to you. Obviously we talked it out later on in the game, but I didn't come to you there and then because I had already made up my mind that I didn't trust you. Plus, I feared you in this game because I know how you play this game and I know you're insane. And I'd already started sowing the seeds of speaking to certain people, saying, I don't think we can trust Angel. Angel can't be trusted." And at one point, I did regret it, which is why we all spoke to in our group chat. We all spoke about the fact that I had said that, and at the time when I said it, it was my true feelings, and then I was like, oh no, I really can't trust him. I really don't think I can trust him more than the game relationships I made in this game, plus with my relationship with Andrew and Brian. I didn't speak to you because I didn't think there was anything that could have been said because it had been proven to me. The things which I was told that had happened had been proven to me. There was nothing that could have been said that could have changed that for me, and I knew where I needed to go next. And unfortunately, you weren't in my final game plan.
okay, that's perfect. All right, Logan, I'm gonna hurry this up. Logan, I will say this again. I have not wasted so much time on someone to be my ally, and that was you. I wanted to be on your side. I wanted you to be on my side. I wanted to let you know that I was loyal. I made a deal with Dylan to let you know that I was loyal. However, both of you used me. I don't know if your game was to use me unintentionally or intentionally. You both used me in this game, and I did not appreciate that in a way. I think it's very respectable. I respect that. I think that's a huge move what you did. You played a good villain, not a supporting. I think you were a villain in this game. And actually, I admire that. But I don't admire when I am told a lie. So, Logan, why do you think I should vote for you?
Yeah. Ultimately, I was playing round by round, and the fact that you and I had never made an actual deal. Yes, you made a deal with Dylan, but I feel I'm a different player. I should be given my own agency. I should be allowed to make my own moves. And since we didn't make a deal, I thought we had a great thing. We had the best quid pro quo deal alliance ever since the beginning. But we never said, hey, we're going to take each other to the end. And ultimately, I can't justify taking you further on hell. You're like King Cody. Who's going to beat you? You're just going to, I would vote for you every day of the week, every day. And so that's why I did what I did. I didn't mean to like use you, or it wasn't like sociopathic. It wasn't, planned out for me. I just kept seeing you give me a lot of chances. I took advantage of them. I'm sorry. If you feel I took advantage of you, but I thought that was a great thing to do. And you're a hard player to manage. You have a lot going on. And how do you deal with that when you're just little old me, apparently a villain, not supporting?
I do admit I don't know why you were so special. You and Andrew S were so special to me in this game after knowing that Brian and Sam were against me. But I do admit, I will say, if you go to our chats, there was a conversation where we could make a deal and you just completely ignored it. Like legit.
Absolutely.
I said 3 times, let's go back to this deal that you mentioned, and you completely ignored it.
You're absolutely right.
That
was a little bit too late for me. Because I was trying to keep you and Cody in the game so you'd go after each other. Because I figured one of you would either go after me or call me the goat and bring me to the end. And I didn't want to make a deal. I thought it'd be actually better if I didn't make a deal and go back on it. But I guess I'm held to the same standard here. And so I'm sorry, maybe I should have just made a deal, broke it or not. But I was very specific in my game about that with everyone. I made few deals, actually, if any. My deals were with Bridget and John. I broke that. Sorry, final 3, but they had deals with everyone. I felt justified. Dylan, final 2. And then the final 5 alliance I told you about, Cody, Sam, Brian, Dylan, myself. Those are the deals I made.
Okay. What's my time left?
2 minutes and 18 seconds.
All right, Andrew. My dear Andrew, I love that we built this bridge after your first nomination. I felt so bad throughout this game, and I said I need to do something with this guy. And I am really glad that we built a solid relationship where we told each other everything. Although I did not know about those deals you were making with almost everyone. I think you played a good social game compared to Sam and Logan. I think you had a good jury management here, especially after and during their evictions. You were an honest player. Even though I think you won 1 HOH, am I correct? Okay, no vetoes, I assume. 1 veto as well. I think you strategized and played a good social game here. This is my opinion based on what I'm seeing. However, I want to know something from you, and don't give me an answer I want to hear. I want your honest opinion. If you were to win the part 3 of the HOH and I was there with you, would you have taken me to the end?
Who are the other 2 people?
Anyone. Assuming that I was an option to be taken right now in the position you are.
I mean, the only scenario in which I would have evicted you is if Dylan and Darnell were the other 2, because I promised I would never vote either of them out. So in that scenario, if Dylan, Darnell, myself, and you were final 4, then yeah, I would have evicted you. Any other scenario, I would have taken you to final 3.
Okay. Overall, I wish you all the best. I'm very proud of each and one of you. Don't stop talking to me, because I do enjoy talking a lot. So.
Oh, don't we know? All right. Cody, your 10 minutes start now.
Wow, who would have imagined me shutting up for an hour and a half? Long time no see. Congrats on doing what I couldn't. I'm genuinely proud and honestly a little heartbroken at the same time, and I'm going to try to keep my personal feelings out of it. As Javi sort of mentioned, about half of the jury was on what was basically a roundtable. And I just want to say, at least from those that showed up, everyone was very open to each of your games. We all think that there were high points. We all think that there were low points. I genuinely think that as far as the high points go, those have already been touched on, but I kind of just want to be like, the overarching jury's devil's advocate here, I guess, for a lack of better terms. I guess I'll start with Andrew just because he's kind of had to go last every single time, and I really don't want to have him run short on time this time. So first I want to say, like, yeah, those deals that you made with like myself and Brian, that definitely saved your ass. Like, I'm just gonna say that right now. Otherwise, I was honestly probably gonna throw you on the block, but I was like, well, you told Sam final 8, you told me final 7. I told Sam, you told me final 8 as well. So I was like, we're good. I know that he's gonna be loyal to this deal. I think the main issue that people had with your game is what I'm going to just define as like floating versus coasting. So floating is between like multiple groups and like trying to figure out like which has the power, and you stated that. But I think a lot of people in the jury view your game as coasting. So just kind of like chilling around. So can you just kind of like, I know you sort of said it, but just like put a nail in it and just kind of dispel that myth for us.
So first of all, the deals that I made, yeah, they saved me, but they also saved you. Because if we didn't make a deal round 2 when you were HOH the week Corey went, you would have been the replacement nominee. No,
I know.
So that, yeah.
That's why I was loyal to those deals as well.
Right. So I really don't think I was a coaster. I think I was a very active player. I think part of coasting is just sleeping around, doing nothing. In the real Big Brother, there's always that one person that just sleeps all day. I was always the first person to say good morning to everybody. I'm not saying the first in terms of time, but I was always saying good morning to every single player every single day. So my social game was there. I was actively trying to work with as many people as I can without going over. Because if you go over and you do what Dylan or Jonathan did and you make too many deals and have too many allies, then people compare notes and see that you're in trouble. So I worked with the people that gave me the best shot of moving forward. And I don't perceive myself as a coaster. That's obviously up to all of you to decide, but that would be why what I did.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll move on to Logan, I guess alphabetical. Thank you, Luis. I guess there were sort of like 2 things that I wanted to touch on. And honestly, the second one's going to be one with jurors that aren't really here, which is kind of unfortunate. So we can decide how much we want to talk about it. I think that you honestly played a really solid game. And again, like, I feel like it was sort of touched on, but we're just going to take final 4. You got me out. It was obvious at final 10 that there was like another push to get me out at that point, but you resisted to it. Can you justify making like the getting me out your move if other people tried to push for that rounds before? And can you just sort of explain that to us?
Well, in the context of the whole game, I thought there were 3 major players that everyone was always talking about, and I figured, how can I manage them? That's Cody, that's Angel, and that's Brian from the get-go. And so it is my move ultimately at the end, because I would have evicted you final 6. I was 1 point away from doing that. I think we would have gotten you out. Final 5, you beat me fair and square in the HOH. Maybe if I had a lot more spit, you would be out. But I had a lot of opportunities, and I overcame myself to do it. I was never going to bring you to the end. You were trying to do your little, tentacles on me. Oh, Andrew S. is going to sweep the jury. I'm like, come on, Cody. No freaking way, man. You are too good at the game. I knew this. I always knew this from the get-go. From day 1, you look at my confession, I go, this guy, he is way, way too much of a liar for me. He's going to be crazy. He's going to be chaotic. He's going to make moves. Well, you did, bud. But, me and you got on the right foot at the right time.
Awesome. And then just kind of another one as well. Again, this is not so much with the jury that is here, but it was talked about as I scrolled up through the jury chat that there were actions that you did that were viewed as racially insensitive. It was actually sort of like what we talked about with Angel's goals early on of keeping Javi in the game and then working closely with people of color. So I just want to give you a chance to talk about it because personally speaking, I'm on the side where if we're set up within the game and let's say, for example, Bridget's the last woman, if she's going around and doing shady shit, it's not being evicted for being a woman, it's evicted for doing shady shit. And I think that everyone in that group was able to come to terms with that. But I just want to give you a moment because I know that us 2 talked about that a great deal, but not everyone is going to have that same experience as us.
Absolutely. What this stems from is information I got earlier on in the game. I think mostly from Brian, but maybe a couple other people. That an alliance was made based off of the premise that we have to, get a minority or people of color winner. And there's no problem with, you can make an alliance with anyone you want. Absolutely. And I never made a decision based off of, I feel, at least overtly. I mean, we all have biases to some degree, but I never made a decision based off of anyone's race. Absolutely. I would never do that. I would never say anything about that. And I'm always working on it. Like I said, we're all biased. What it comes down to, why did I evict, say Brian, then Andrew I, then Javier, then Angel, all in a row when you put it up into the chart? It has to do with the fact that I felt like I couldn't be a better alliance member to any of them than they already were to each other. They were a solid alliance. That was my whole point of teaming up with Cody and Brian, because Brian was like, yeah, I'm going to give you a little bit of room to wiggle. Well, I wiggled my way in over there, and I tried to split up an alliance that I felt was the tightest in the entire game. And that's
I
really
will
what
say
it
as
comes
well,
down to.
you'll like their name, Ad and Javier. They're the Hellfire Club. It's a good name. I'm just gonna go on to Sam real quick. I had to put in that shout out for you guys. That was great. Sam, I think that you've said very well just as far as like your position in the game and how much you thought about the game. I think a lot of people see it as a weaker move to align with power hitters, and I just want you to give just like again the nail in the coffin that I gave to Andrew, just like that. Why is this like a game defining moment and why you should be the winner?
You cut out a bit. So okay, yeah. No, I did. I had allies, but they weren't, and I was aligned with some of the power players in the game, and that's completely fair. That's pretty just. But I also made my own moves with people that were not those. I made sure that I had solidified my relationships with people that I didn't know coming in, with Dylan and with Logan. I made sure that if you did go home at final six, final seven, which people were wanting to happen, that I was set up moving forward. And I didn't want you to go, but I made sure I was set up. And also, I didn't win any competitions, but I still had power. I had Bitcoin transferred over to me. I had powers which made me really valuable to the people. So I feel I had as much power as you guys did, but in a different way. Because of the powers I did possess, I was valuable to people. Nobody was going to want to go against me or get rid of me because the group would then lose all the power. So I think that made me extremely valuable to you guys. And I think I'm really happy with my social game. I feel I've navigated myself really well. I wasn't in danger from the deals round onwards, and I never ever felt I was going to go home. And obviously, I was correct. I feel I manoeuvred my way between alliances, not just because of the power, but based on where I felt the votes were going to go 2-3 rounds later down the line. I made sure I set myself up well to make it as far as I could, and I'm extremely proud of the way I played, which is why I think.
I do just want to say as well, Logan's going to hate hearing this. Thank you so much for helping me study for that final 6 POV for like 2.5 hours. If it wasn't for that, he probably would have beat me and this game would have looked a little bit different. Yeah, Logan's pissed now. Yeah, Sam helped me study with quite a few competitions. So I just want to say, like, from a personal level, and I'm sorry, Isabel and Hel, but like that was also super, super helpful. And in my last couple seconds, this is both for Andrew and Sam. Sam, this is going to be hard to imagine, but if you won final 3 HOH, given the final 4 that we had, who would you have voted out? And
I would have voted out Logan, purely for the same fact. As I said, I don't think I can beat Andrew. I don't think I can beat you, but loyalty is a big thing for me. And you two never break your trust to me, so that is a big thing. Which is why I would have gone for the L. I respect the game far too much to just evict someone because I can beat them. I can beat whoever's left. So I would have 100% evicted Logan.
Andrew?
Okay, so going into the round, it was going to be Logan, like I said, in the previous round when we had the whole skirmish with Dylan. So it was going to be Logan. But then what happened is I approached you and I offered you a deal and said, hey, if one of us wins HOH, we'll take each other to the end. And you said, let me think about it, which is code for, maybe. Let me see who I'm in the third part with. And when it was Logan, then obviously you didn't want to have anything to do with it. So then at that point, I was like, if he doesn't want to make this deal with me, maybe I should just evict him. So even though I do want to beat the best, I think after you said no to me offering you that deal to take each other, I probably would have evicted you if I had won.
Awesome. And I know Luis is yelling at me. Just want to say again, great game. I'll see some of you in All Stars.
Okay. So since everyone in the jury wasn't here, I'm gonna open up the floor just for any other jurors if you want to ask anything else. That way we, can get everything out there. This is the time to do so. So if you have any questions.
Bridget just asked in the chat if it's still going, so she might be joining, just so you know, Luis.
Yes, we'll tell her yes.
Oh, I guess on a side note as well, Logan, thank you for my rebranding right down here.
You're welcome.
I guess I have one quick question I want to ask. I'm not even on camera. Sorry. So how many votes do the three of you think you're gonna get? Like, if you were just to guess, like a number.
I think. Do you want me to guess for all three of us, or just for me?
Just for yourself.
I think I'm getting 2 votes.
I think before tonight, probably 1 or 2 votes. Maybe after tonight, 4 or 5. Hopefully, maybe not. I don't know.
I'm gonna say 5.
All right. I don't know. I don't know why I asked that. I was just curious.
They have a final speech, right? Like 2 minutes.
They have 5 minutes.
Like, this is your time. This is your time to tell us why you deserve. Like, brag. This is your game. Like, you won. You made a move. You were a villain. You were a hero. Like, tell us why we should vote for you. Like, why do you deserve those $250?
First off, it's $200. It's not $250. I don't know.
Someone told me $250.
No, it's $200.
I didn't know there was prize money.
Can I just add in as well? Please own your game.
This is your time. Don't feel bummed because we're so bitter. Let us be better. This is your time to shine. Tell us why.
The bitter queens aren't even here. Lay it on us.
Okay, well, I think that's a perfect segue to get into the final speeches of why you think you should win this game. We will start backwards from Sam starting, then going this way. Well, it would be Sam, Logan, and then Andrew.
Okay. First of all, really enjoyed it. Thanks, guys. I feel I've played an excellent game. I'm really, really pleased with the game I played. I knew people coming in. I didn't rest on that. I didn't just say, "Oh, I'm going to stick with these. These are strong players. That'll be okay." I made sure I made allies with everyone. I made a strong bond with Cody before I knew that he was a massive threat. I made a strong bond with Cody because we generally connected and we just got on really, really well. And obviously that benefited me in the game. I was never, apart from, as I mentioned, round 3 and round 4, I was never really in any danger in this game at all. I made sure of that with my alliances. Not just the people I came in with the new alliances I made sure that my alliances with my deal with Andrew, my alliances with Cody, my alliances with Dylan and Logan ensured I stayed. Because if I didn't have those, I'd been voted off until another year. So I made sure that my social game was on point. I made sure I was in constant communication with everyone. I made sure that I strategized with people I trusted the most. I was nominated 3 times, but I did not receive a single vote in the last 2 times I was nominated because of how strong my social game was. I had powers which made me valuable. I feel I'm really, really proud of the game that I played. I value loyalty over anything else, even if it means I don't win. I value loyalty, and loyalty. If you show me 100% loyalty to me, I'm going to give it back to you, and that's what Andrew, you and Cody did in the last 5 rounds, which is the reason why I got with Dylan. I had an absolute blast this game, and the people that knew me coming in, I want you to vote for me because of, I know you will anyway, because of the game I played, not just because we're friends. And I know you will anyway because you have much more respect for the game than that. So it's been brilliant. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you, Luis. Thank you, everyone else. It's been awesome. That's what I've got to say.
All righty. Logan, your 5 minutes start now.
Well, I'm going to start at the part of the game that's my weakest, and I'm going to justify why it wasn't as weak as maybe you thought. So my social game, right? There's been a lot of comments tonight Ultimately, I think it's quality over quantity. Someone could have talked to someone for 10 hours and I could go in there and talk 1 hour and suddenly I'm safe. I shouldn't have been safe. I should have been gone. If you look at the voting record, Bridget, Tom, John, I should have been next or the one after. That quite simply didn't happen. I was able to maneuver after round 4, playing the DDoS, using the information that I got perfectly. I don't think I could have played that at a better point. I took that information, I formed a key alliance with key players. Again, the 3 biggest players I thought were Cody, Angel, and Brian. And that doesn't mean other players weren't making moves or that wasn't relevant. There's so many different variables happening. But at the end of the day, I knew that they would wield the most power in any way you slice it, strategy, social. And that's why I made the moves that I did early on in the game. I was a swing vote on seven different evictions, arguably. Brandon, Missy, if you count the whole quadruple dabs, that's the Tom Bridget gang, maybe not. Bridget, John, Darnell, Andrew Javier. Again, I made a lot of these moves with Dylan. I don't really feel like I played a villain. I didn't try to be mean to anyone or anything. I tried to be direct and honest. Maybe I was a villain in the sense of, yeah, if I felt like it was the opportunity to get rid of you, I was going to do it. I was going to do anything to get to the end. This is fun. I think this is fun. Strategy is fun. Socializing, we're going to do it anyway, okay? That's how I feel. If I missed you in the game, I'm a little sorry. But guess what? I think no one's played a better game than me. Sam and Andrew have both been nominated 4 times. I've been nominated 1 time after 31 different nominations. That's skill. That's not luck. Okay, that's Cody, and I got rid of the guy who nominated me. But again, I never faced an eviction vote, 0 eviction votes against me. That has to count for something at the end of the day. And I have played my hardest, even if I wasn't always visible. Absolutely, I was thinking every step of the way. That's why you should vote for me. Kick-ass winner. Although they'd be kick-ass too, but still, you get the point.
Okay. All right. Andrew, your 5 minutes start now.
First of all, Sam Logan, it was so much fun playing with you. It was so much fun playing with everybody. Everybody did a great job. I do want to really quickly address Logan's thing, which I wasn't going to address. Yes, it's fantastic to never be in danger. But I was also a nominee in the final 4, the final 5, the final 6. I was nominated the final 7, and I was nominated the first round. And I survived all of them. So that also should count for something, in addition to not being ever in danger. As you know, I am a 31-year-old who's never had a boyfriend, and I'm a hopeless romantic. And of course, he's not here, as my luck would have it. But I did this anyway. I've been waiting 46 days to do this. So I have a question for Jonathan, and that's, will you accept this, Rose? Now, in terms of my game, I already said that I had a rough start and that I overcame it, and that I was not a floater or a coaster, that I picked a side and I stuck with it. And when the ship sank, I was a hero and I stuck with them and I didn't vote against my allies no matter what. In addition, some of you probably think, and it's true, that to win Survivor or Big Brother, you have to lie, you have to cheat, you have to steal. I want to be one of the very few winners who can honestly say, I never once lied to a single person. Every single deal I made, I never ever broke. My word was golden. If I told you I was going to do something, I did it. If I told you I was going to vote a certain way, I did it. If I told you I was not going to nominate you or vote you out, I did it. I always stuck through with my word. I was a loyal and honest player, no matter what, and you could take it to the bank. And it finally, because being honest doesn't always pay off, after 7 really crappy previous orgs, it paid off this time to just be honest, stick with my word, and be as truthful as possible with everybody, and always make deals that I could keep, not make too many deals that I couldn't. And last but not least, I've been waiting a good month for this moment. I titled my confessionals from round 1 to the end. This is so exciting. 2 alliances in 24 hours. Everybody loves Andrew. Brian is Paul. Let the circle jerk begin. Let it all hang out. Do or die. Bloody but not beaten. Jury full of friends, house full of enemies. Cody's outline, I am angry. 1 win away from fulfilling a 21-year dream. And my round 15 line or confessional title was checkmate bitches. Because I think I have one last thing. If you're unsure of who to vote for, there's one thing I did that not any of you knew. and I'm about to reveal it to you right now. This is hopefully going to come as a shock to you all. I was the only person this season, and I should preface, sorry, that as a person who's watched Survivor since Wednesday, May 31st, 2000 with his mom and dad for 15 years. Hi, Mom. I'm an old school fan. I respect people who play the game and win without having to find idols every week and without having to go through all these glitzes and glambos and all these special superpowers. I'm the only person, I believe, this season who bought but never needed to use a superpower. I didn't have to glitch this week. I didn't have to steal a vote. I didn't have to steal an HOH, sudden death this, extra vote this, advantage or disadvantage to this person. I bought this cheat code from the First Monitor. I didn't tell anybody because I never needed to use it. And I never used it as leverage. I never told anybody. And I'm going to keep it as a souvenir because I'm an old school player. I'm an old school player who doesn't need to rely on gadgets and gizmos and trinkets and friendship bracelets and lockets and Pandora's box and all this crap to get to the end. I got to the end because of my social game, my strategic game. I didn't need to use any superpowers. Sam had 80 trillion powers. Logan's power, if he didn't use it, maybe Brian would have nominated him and maybe he would have gone that week. We'll never know. But I got here, I bought one, but I was the only one, I believe, that never needed to use it. And that's why, on top of everything I've already said, I believe I deserve to win this game.
All righty. Well, guys, that does it. This ends the conclusion of the finale. Now it is time for the important part. Now the members of the jury will vote. So please send those votes in your jury chats for the last time this season.
But wait, what does that power do?
You'll never know.
Tell me. I want to know.
I typed it in the chats. Bro.
In Skype?
I think I would get a second chance and an HOH or a POV.
I was convinced that On Hell had that power for like 4 weeks. Yeah, I know.
That's so funny.
Can I just say as well, if it does come to All-Stars for Survive This, I really hope that it's genuinely All-Stars and not some stars like Big Brother All-Stars US 2.
The shade.
I mean, am I wrong? Like, imagine me and On Hell in the same game, maybe working together.
I hope it's true, because I'm loyal.
I'm not saying yes or no, because this is documented. Although I will say, if I play with Brian again, he's probably going to fuck me over.
He's going to fuck everyone.
Bro, some of the things he did, and I was like, shit.
I had so much fun.
Whatever, I voted. I'm freely talking. I'm assuming that everyone else voted.
Yeah, I voted. Good luck.
And I want to say as well to whoever wins, congratulations. I might be on later, but I have a homework assignment that's due in 95 minutes.
Good luck.
I'm like halfway through. Some things never change.
Just a confirmation. There's 10 jury members, right? Yeah. There's so many of y'all.
Yeah, there's 10.
It's pineapple.
Oh my God. I love that.
I thought it was a drink at first.
The ones that you only see in New Orleans if you ever been there.
Okay, but actually though, like I'm thinking about this cast and I'm like, I feel like half of the people could be invited for All Stars and I wouldn't be mad.
Maybe they can do a season versus season.
Listen
Like
to what he's saying.
Andrew, Logan,
All-Stars.
Angel, Javi, Dylan, myself, not you.
Should we do All Stars? Will just be this season all over again.
Okay.
Honestly, like it would be, and everyone would be after me from round 1, and I'd be okay with it.
Okay, I have the results. First thing I want to reveal is I want to reveal that each season I always choose out someone from first impressions. My winner pick who I thought was gonna win the game, and this person actually made it to the final. So that's pretty good. That's the first time. So the person that I thought was gonna win this game after maybe like 1 or 2 rounds was Logan. So Logan, that was just mine. Obviously, I mean, just I don't want you to think like
Well,
I'm
no,
proud
that's
of,
just
I'm proud of everybody. This is just how not how I thought things were going. Like this is what from me watching you guys from behind the scenes and watching you guys how everything was going on. That's not me saying I want Logan to win. No, that's not it. It's just how predictions. So I'm proud of every one of y'all who made it to the final. I will say I did not expect this final 3, just because I don't know y'all. I just saw bigger fish that were like potential. Like you guys came from the back, but hey, that's always good. So congratulations, you guys played an amazing game. So yeah, let's start off with the first vote. The first vote is Cody's vote. Cody decided to vote for Sam. That's 1 vote, Sam. Dylan decided to vote for Logan. That's 1 vote, Logan. 1 vote, Sam. 1 vote, Logan. Angel decided to vote for Andrew. That's 1 vote, Sam. 1 vote, Logan. 1 vote, Andrew. Next vote. Javier decided to vote for Andrew.
Oh.
That's 2 votes, Andrew, 1 vote, Sam, 1 vote, Logan. Next vote comes from Andrew I. Andrew I decided to vote for Andrew. That's 3 votes, Andrew, 1 vote, Logan, 1 vote, Sam. Brian decided to vote for Sam. That's 2 votes, Sam, 3 votes, Andrew, 1 vote, Logan. Darnell decided to vote for Andrew. That's 4 votes, Andrew, 2 votes, Sam, 1 vote, Logan. Tom decided to vote for. Congratulations, Andrew. You are the winner of Survive This Season 4. With all the other votes, John and Bridget, they also divided a vote for Andrew. Congratulations, Andrew. Andrew,
Thank you.
You really deserve it.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
the
That's
cutest
amazing.
thing, though.
Andrew, any
Thank you so
final
much.
words?
Thank you, everyone, so much. I can't believe it. It's been 21 years that I've watched Big Brother and Survivor, and it's a dream come true. So thank you. And Logan and Sam are both very, very deserving finalists and would have made a fantastic winner as well.
Amazing. Yes, I agree. You guys all had a chance to win in my eyes. But Andrew, you came out on top, and congratulations for that. Yeah, I don't know how to end these things. I don't know. Woo! I guess, yeah, round of applause.